Hello and welcome, dear friends and fans of Gartenschlau.com. Bernd here, and today we're talking about the topic of citrus plants. Or rather, it is about the topic repotting citrus plants. And we're not talking about the ones that are currently full of beautiful fruit. I'll cover those in another video, but it is about this beautiful large kumquat. And as you can see, it is really big and sprawling. And what's really surprising about this plant is that it's the first citrus plant that I just haven't been able to get to bloom for almost over a year. I'm just going to assume that the substrate is to blame. Last year I just did this so it doesn't dry out so much in the summer. I made a layer on the surface of the substrate. But I assume that the substrate is just already. It's simply too compacted. The roots can't breathe anymore, and that needs to be fixed. And what should you pay attention to when it comes to citrus plants? Repotting and what else you should do in the spring. To keep the plant healthy for the season, I'll show you now. What do you need as utensils for the repotting and then afterwards trimming? From a citrus plant, in this case a kumquat. I've had this kumquat for almost 2 years now. Now it's sitting in this pot. For trimming, obviously you need a pair of scissors. It should be a disinfected pair of scissors. So either burn the blade with a lighter, burn it, or dip it in alcohol or another good disinfectant. Dipping, suitable disinfectant. Of course, a box or a piece of paper to make a mess with. The advantage of this is that you can get rid of the waste that is created more quickly or more easily. Then, maybe a pair of scissors, which is always here on my work table. A pot that is a bit larger than the old pot. In this case it is even a little lower, but that doesn't matter because the potted here begins a little below the edge of the pot. And of course I will remove some old soil. Now I have 2 pots of the same size here. You can see they have different drainage, meaning the number of holes. I recommend for citrus plants, or generally for almost all plants, pots with a lot of holes. I mean, where the drainage is really great, or is best possible. You should say it best, or ideally say it. Then a watering can with water for later watering. And of course, watering. And of course, the most important and the heaviest. I'm going to clear some space now. I hope this is an ad now. But potting soil in neutral bags is a bit tricky. In this case, I have the potting soil from Coxin. Sounds good, there's mycorrhiza in it. There will definitely be something about mycorrhiza in the next video or in one of the upcoming videos. So the information in the mycorrhiza video is really super important for those who want to delve into the topic. And to cut open the bag, you can use the scissors. So I would say, let's start by taking the plant out of the old pot. As I said, just place the saucer underneath and then it makes everything much easier to clean up in the end. Then it is always good to take an old pot because you can put the waste in there. Last year, since I just had some left over, I used leaves and balls that I placed on top of the substrate and the Hofschaugassed the whole thing a bit. There is nothing left. That does not require constant watering because that is where the plant is. It's the complete south side, so the sun really beats down there in the summer. Expanded clay is also a really good drainage material. That means in itself you can do it like that. Put it back in the pot. If you want to put it this way, that the expanded clay falls out from the bottom, you can put a fleece in the pot. In this case, I have so little expanded clay that ultimately, when it's filled with substrate, it doesn't really weigh much at all. Not much anymore. In the weight field, it's saved, so nothing will fall out anymore. You can also mix the expanded clay into the bottom layer of the soil. Then it naturally has a bit better water retention in the pot. It won't fall out, it won't be washed out so quickly. And the advantage is that these expanded clay pellets clog the holes at the bottom. Alternatively, you can use coarse sand as a drainage layer. You can use gravel, you can use styrofoam. There are such drainage cushions. Personally, I don't think much of that. You just have to imagine it this way. As long as there's something in there that doesn't decompose or doesn't decompose quickly, then nothing can get caught in there and so on. I'm not a fan of that. And that doesn't have to be the case. So, just rearrange the leaves here. For that, a few used fertilizers, slow release fertilizers that I used last year. That's basically it. Now comes the plant from the old pot. Hold the plant up, the pot itself. Tap it down. It's already quite firm. Maybe if it's too firm, just take the scissors. Then the pot is just broken. It's not that dramatic either. In the end, it might even go a bit faster. So now it should be lowered and the mode should come to light. What I think is that this is one without sticky substrate. I'm just going to get closer with the camera. You can see that it's really like already garden soil, very sandy. Normally, as I said, the substrate has to be very drainage heavy, but it's just too dense. The plant doesn't feel comfortable there, and that's why it's very important that it will be repotted. It's really almost like when you're when you're sitting by the sea on the beach, building a sand castle or a mud castle. That would be a bit strange. Beach, a clay beach. It's just too dense. The problem is, normally you shouldn't disturb the old root ball too much. Influence. That's the case with almost all plants, but I think you agree with me. That's not a good condition either. That means the whole thing will be loosened up as much as possible. You can already see when you hit it, the shape really holds up. This is what it looks like. It's become more radical than I originally intended. Actually, I just wanted to take the plants and put them in a new pot. And that was it. That's why this box wasn't enough. But you see what I mean? You just take the box and can throw the whole thing away. Or process it in the garden. You can work that into the ground somewhere. And since I now have so much from the root ball, it's worth it if you take a smaller pot. I might have been able to go up a size after all. You might see why. Just so I can expand a bit more. I would feel a bit more comfortable with that. As for the plant, you just have to be careful with the watering, right? Just because more soil volume, substrate volume can also hold more moisture. And the plant, normally you plant citrus plants every 2 to 3 years, and now it can feel comfortable in there for a while. I said you can also mix the lower substrate with the pleaton. I'm doing that now. If it's not such an inventory, then, as you can see, the whole bottom is actually already much looser. In fact, you will notice that. And look how that fits. And when you see it like this, it fits much better. Now, in terms of space for the plant, then the larger pot is definitely the better choice. So now I'm just ensuring that that it is also guaranteed, when I fill the pot with substrate, that every corner is reached. At the beginning it's a bit slower. Slower because you want to reach every corner. So press down the whole thing. The plant is in the new pot. And then you just have to water the whole thing. Just water it. That's actually the most important step. Oops! The leopard, the book, doesn't work. So, and that was it on the topic. How to take care of a citrus plant, in this case, a kumquat. In the next video, it's about how to prune the plant. And if you have any more questions about citrus, then write them down here in the comments. Otherwise, thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you have any other questions, criticisms, suggestions, or anything else, of course down. If you want to know about other topics, drop them in the comments. If you want to show your plants, which I personally always find very interesting, then post it on my Facebook page from gartenschlau.com. You'll find the link in the description. Otherwise, I would say until next time and goodbye.